Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. Back to another work week. Though of course here it is, it's Easter Sunday evening for me, and the ham is in the oven along with the sweet potatoes and green beans. Yes, from our garden, so stuff I canned, so we'll still smelled okay, so we were good. So I know some of you guys are probably looking for Mrs. Pinball's cooking video this morning. I'm going to give you this one first. I wore her out today. I mentioned yesterday about planting trees. So we were out in the yard planting 31 trees today. That's how many we got in before both of us just basically collapsed. So she is relaxing. We might get it up later today, later Monday. It's not today, but so that's kind of where that one is, but it's coming, guys. She's making a dessert this time around. So, that's next, but give you this one this morning. So what I wanted to talk about, and I've gotten quite a few emails on this lately, is, all of us talking about inflation, all of us seeing inflation, and what to do about it. And we've all talked about, a lot of the channels have talked about buying precious metals, silver preferably. There's calls out there that silver could feasibly increase fivefold in the next 5 years. Okay, great. If silver's $125, $150, nobody's going to complain. But just like anything else, you never want to put all your eggs in one basket. And I totally agree. Now, as usual, before doing this, I'm going to qualify everything here I am not giving you financial advice. I am just telling you about an option that's out there that you might not know of. If this sounds interesting to you, I would suggest talking to your broker, your accountant, your CFP, whoever would be that you get your financial advice from. But, considering this is an investment vehicle, I'm betting a lot of people probably haven't heard of, it might be an interesting conversation to have. Okay. So the other qualifying comment I'm going to make on here is this one is only going to be valid if you believe that the U.S. government is going to somehow, some way, shape, or form stay in one piece. Okay. If the government collapses, the treasury collapses, whatever it is, the dollar goes to zero. Okay. Then obviously this doesn't make sense. Okay. I have a tendency to believe that the government in some way, shape, or form is still going to exist. So this is a viable option for people. Okay. And what I'm talking about is something they're called Treasury Inflation Protected Securities, or TIPS for short. Okay. Now, you can, and I'll explain what they are in a second, but just telling you how you can get them. You can get them from direct from the Treasury if you want. They sell in allocations of $100. Okay. So, it's not like you have to have 100 grand or something like that to do this. You can also buy them through a mutual fund or an exchange-traded fund. Now, the difference there being is, and I'll just give you this real quick, if you buy them direct from the government, you've got them until maturity, okay, whether it's 5 years, 10 years, or 30 years, okay? If you buy it through an ETF or a mutual fund, you have a lot more liquidity. ETFs obviously trade like a stock on the stock exchange all day long, so the price is going to change all day long. The mutual fund one is going to price at the end of the day like your typical mutual fund. Okay. But what TIPS are is a very unique type of, if you will, treasury bond. Okay. Now, it's issued by the U.S. Treasury and it's indexed to inflation. And I'll just give you this as an example, okay? And it's the returns, if you will, are based on the Consumer Price Index, the CPI. So traditionally, well, always, they have a lower coupon, okay, lower interest payment than that of a treasury bond. And there's a good reason for it. Okay, so if you are looking for something for income, if you're retired and your portfolio is in treasury bonds or corporate bonds or whatever it is, and you're looking for income, this is not what you're looking for. Okay, this is not an income generating vehicle. This is for purchasing power protection. Okay. So here's how it works. And I'll just make up some numbers here. Let's say you buy a tip for $1,000 worth, and it's got a coupon of 1%. All right. So you're going to get $10 in interest every year for that $1,000. Now, if inflation goes up 2%, your $1,000 is now worth $1,020. Your 1% coupon is now based off that $1,020. So now each year you get $10.20. Okay. If inflation goes up 100%, okay, let's just say, now your $1,000 is worth $2,000. Okay. And that's what you're going to get. On the other side, okay, let's say that everybody is completely all wet, that, Joe Biden is the second coming of Christ, and we wind up in a deflationary, prices start going down on everything. Good luck. Okay. But it's possible. Mustache here. So let's say the inflation rate drops 1%. Okay. So now your $1,000 is only worth $990. The tip, okay, the Treasury inflation protected security, guarantees that you will always at least get your principal back. Okay, so you'll always get your $1,000 back. So if the price of beef went down to 29 cents a pound and we had, 80 some odd, 90 some odd percent deflation, you're still going to get your $1,000, okay, in my example. On the other side, if inflation does go up, which when doesn't it, okay, you're indexing your money toward inflation. So your purchasing power that you have today will be the same purchasing power that you have in 5 years, in 10 years, in 30 years. Now think how this would have worked if you were in Venezuela, where inflation went through the roof, okay? And you had bought, I'm going to make up the numbers here, okay? But we all know what happened in Venezuela. And you bought 1,000 bolivar worth of tips, and inflation went up like it did, where 1.8 million bolivar is now about 50 cents. So you bought 1,000 bolivar 10 years ago in tips, and now to buy the same amount of tacos, it's gonna, that you could with $1,000 now or 1,000 bolivar now costs you 100 million bolivar. Well, if you invest in the tips, when it matures, you get 100 million bolivar, even though you only put 1,000 in the first place. Same thing here. If our inflation goes through the roof, so does the value of your tip here. All right. It's something that's a good idea to look into. It's for purchasing power preservation. It's not for generating income, even though you do get a small interest payment each year or whatever it would be. Every 6 months you get paid the interest payments on it. But if you're looking for something to diversify from not only being in precious metals to protect yourself from inflation, this is another vehicle that you can use to protect yourself and protect your wealth from inflation. And like I said, you can buy these in $100 increments. You can go and buy an ETF, exchange traded fund, through your E-Trade account or Schwab account or whatever, where you're not paying any commissions anyway. You can buy them at whatever amount you want, and now you're going to get a basket of them. You're going to get some 5-year and some 10-year and some 30-year, and it all works out. So something to look into, but like I said, they're called Treasury Inflation Protections or Inflation Protected Securities, and the acronym is TIPS, TIPS. Go look it up, talk to your financial professional or whatever, and see if it fits for you. Okay. If you're looking for some way to preserve some of your wealth, it might be another option. I wanted to put that one out there today because I know I've got a few questions. People are like, well, you know what? I've already got a whole bunch of precious metals. What else can I do? Here's another option for you. So, food for thought, guys. Have a good Monday. I'm going to go eat some ham. Pinball out.